Hello, my name is Karlis Robert Celms, and I am a chef here at Cafe Tvaiks. I also have another cafe, 371, in the Riga Central Market, and I'm starting a small new venture, which is a food truck, which is a very popular avenue of food sales in the United States. And we also have, on top of all of this, like most cafes and restaurants in Riga, a catering enterprise on the side. And I would like to discuss with you today, first and foremost, my business and why I do what I do, and also just a few aspects of the business that I continue to see on a daily basis that are very relative. So I started cooking as a young man at the age of 15. I saw cooking as something very relevant, something that you immediately see the results of your work, and I found it very gratifying. And at first it was a passion, and then it was a job, and with time it's become a business. And so when it becomes a business, you start to look at things differently. It's not just a place that you go to 5 or 6 or 7 days a week. It's a place that you have to think about 24/7, and you begin to employ other people. So here in Latvia, after working in restaurants for 3 years under other owners and entrepreneurs, if you will, restaurateurs, I realized that the niche here lied mostly within catering, and specifically because of less risk for the company. I found that you were able to analyze in advance what your costs would be and what your profit would be. And you could analyze your margins rather than in a restaurant or a cafe environment where you're literally just sitting and waiting for those clients to come to you. It's a gamble. So I turned my attention towards catering and aggressively searching out my clients and my clientele. And it's benefited me because well, we've built our whole structure around the fact that I don't want to run a restaurant. I want to run a catering enterprise with a base kitchen, a base restaurant. So I've actually to cut my costs, my overheads. We have removed ourselves from the center. We're on the outskirts of the city, in a place with a low rent and a low overhead, but very good facilities and very strong logistics. So rather than focus on the day-to-day volume of traffic, I've chosen to look at how we can use our facilities to our advantage. And so I actively seek out large events where I can guarantee that there's going to be a large client base, and where I can use my skill as a chef to offer a unique product and something different than the ordinary offerings here in Latvia. And something that comes up time and time again, and that cannot be ignored in this business is, well, how do you develop your menu, and how does that menu, how do you say, sell itself? Where do you price yourself at? So, and with that said, of course, you have to take a lot of things into account. First and foremost is, what's your target market? What's your clientele? And what's their demographic? Are you shooting for a very high scale, or are you shooting for perhaps a low price but a high turnover? We tend to shoot right for the middle. I think that I see a niche in the market that in Latvia I feel there's a very high-end restaurant scene and a very low-end, and I feel like the middle is where there's a lot of room for improvement. So we've done our best to be able to offer a reasonably priced product, a reasonably priced menu, to a wider kind of the middle class, if you will, which is the emerging class, I think, in Latvia and perhaps in Europe as a whole. So certain things that obviously have to be taken into account when you're doing your menu pricing are obviously the cost of your products, the cost of your labor and the utilities to execute that product, and the overhead costs, what you actually pay for the space that you're in. And then add to that what you feel is a fair price to charge, what you want to earn for your product. And that's where I think a lot of businesses either fail or succeed. If you have a short-term goal to make a whole lot of money just selling food, there's no way to do it. It's a long-term business, and food is not something that necessarily will make you your profit. The reality is that food will pay the bills and cover the bills, but the profit usually comes from add value things like alcohol or wine or coffees, things that have a lower self cost and can be a higher margin can be tacked onto it. So when we talk about knowing the cost of your product and what you're paying for, it's key, it's elementary. It has to be done. In catering, once again, I go back to that because that's my primary source of income here. It's very convenient because you can negotiate with the client. You can be as flexible, you can be way more flexible than a restaurant because you can ask the client, what's your budget? They give you a budget and you can simply start to deduct your costs from that and understand that, well, I can maybe not offer them foie gras, but I can offer them a chicken liver pate or something along those lines, a slightly less expensive product. So that's the advantage that I see in that field, whereas opposed to a restaurant, if you want to serve a certain standard of food, you have to have X ingredients on the menu and you're set to pay those prices. So and then that comes to the next one is how do you adjust your prices based on your client? So discounts or deals. One thing that's very popular to draw a client in is a business lunch or a daily special. Those are things that expose you to a wider variety of clients that bring people in and allow them to see the quality of food and service and style that you can offer at a very budget price. And that's considered, in my opinion, a marketing tool. It's advertisement. You don't expect to make a whole lot off of offering a daily or a business lunch, but it exposes you, and there's a snowball effect that can come from that. So you have to make sure that what you put on the plate is representative of what you can do on a more grand scale. And further, you have with the catering and the banquets, you have to look at the client. If you're dealing with a multinational bank, then you can likely ask a bit more, and they'll understand that. If they have a corporate budget to work with. If you're dealing with a small independent family that's trying to do a nice birthday celebration, then you have to play into it. So I would say that discounts apply where needed. And another important thing is not always wanting to give things away for free, but I try to look at a discount, not as a discount, I don't want to say buy one, get one free, but kind of disguise it almost as an add value. What can you add on to make the client feel like they're getting more for their money? So if you can kind of integrate something that, you've got a set price and, okay, this is the set price for that menu, but look, you've given me 75 people eating a menu that's at, say, 25 euros per head, then I can give you a good deal on wine. I can reduce the markup down on wine and do it that way. But it's a matter of how you word it as well. So, and then one more is with the markets. We have a food truck, a food trailer, so our prices are on a sliding scale depending on if I'm in the center of a cosmopolitan city where the income is slightly higher, or if I'm out in the middle of the countryside in a small area. You have to really analyze where you are, where you're going, what your market is, and what your price point is. So what does all this rambling say is that if you're not paying attention to the cost of your goods, to the cost of your overheads, to the cost of your expenses, then there's no way that you will succeed in the business, because the margins are so slim in the business that you have to pay attention to these things. This is not a business where you make millions just churning out mass-produced food. Some people do that, but as a small business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a hands-on chef, we're as far away from that as possible. So we have to be very much aware of every cent that's going in and out of the company.